Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, and it is going to be a fun Friday. Well, it can be a fun Friday. It just depends on what you do. Now, I'll give you an example. We're all here. Some of us are sequestered or kept at home for safety, but we're all in this together on this virus thing. But you don't have to be estranged from your friends. You don't have to be estranged from your acquaintances. What we did, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, one of the racers from Irwindale Drag Strip organized a virtual gathering. So we had Thursday Night Thunder with the use of a program called Zoom, Zoom. Worked out great. It was kind of like Hollywood Squares with friends because we all had a picture of ourselves up there, actually a video right from our computers. Some people use their phones, and we spoke to each other. We discussed. We were on for about, a little over an hour, and we socialized. We didn't get close to anybody, but we socialized. As a matter of fact, one family social distanced. Steve Marquardt was upstairs, and his daughter, Amber, was downstairs. But they were on two different computers. So they were both part of social distancing and social gatherings. So how can you do that? Well, we've done it with our car club as well. We had a car club meeting. It was the board of directors meeting the other night, but it was also done with Zoom. Now, Randy Cardillan and I, talking about cars and GAAS-Great American Auto Scene, and Joe Walla with Rockin' and Racing, will be doing the same thing. And we'll let everybody know about it so you can tune in and watch us and join us and have some fun. So social distancing has created some issues, but it's also created some opportunities. And we're going to seek them out, search them out, and do them. Now, another thing we're going to do, we're actually going to get out of the house. Yes, we are. There's a cruise night tonight. We're driving up to Santa Barbara. It's about a 30-minute drive from where I live, and it's going to be a cruise. No one gets out of the car. There are restaurants there serving right at the curbs. All you do is you order it ahead, you stop, you get your food, you drive on. You're still social distancing. No gathering outside the cars. We're going to cruise State Street in Santa Barbara. It's going to be a cruise night. A real cruise night. Not one of these things where you pull into a parking lot and don't drive. That's not cruising. That's parking. We're going to cruise. There's a parade route, or not a parade route, but a cruise route they've already set up, and it's going to be cool. Cruising down State Street in Santa Barbara at 6:30 this evening. So we're going to get together on that. Hi, Neil. How you doing? So Neil Panks is tuned in right now, one of our international followers. Thank you for watching us tonight, or today. What time is it? I've lost track of time. One of the things that's happened, though, is you're sitting back, and Mark, you got to send me a message with your address again. Private message me. I thought I wrote it down, and I put it in this bag that I had of stuff, but I lost it. So, Mark, PM me your address, would you please? All right, so Mark McGeorge from Arizona is watching us right now. Now, Mark and I go back quite a long time. He was the vehicle handler when I worked for General Motors and Isuzu's commercial truck divisions as the trade show marketing manager. And Mark would help. He was the guy that stayed with the vehicles that we had. We had special show vehicles that would come out every once in a while, and he handled one. GM built one of the first top kick tow vehicles. It was immense. And it was great. He'd come out to the shows and make sure everything was right with that. Hi, Kenneth Carpenter. How are you this morning? Mike Levy and Steve Brown. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. All right, so it's Friday. And what do we got to do? Well, what do you want to talk about? I just talked about social distancing and car clubs, how you can keep things going. What's on your mind? Now, a lot of guys have posted Front End Friday, so I posted a couple of pictures of the fronts of my cars. And I thought about other things too, but I kept it to cars. Hi, Cleon Short. How are you this morning? Jim Dillo, have fun Friday? Yes, we are going to, Jim. We are going to gas up the 56, or maybe take the 57, or maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I think we're going to cruise out to Santa Barbara for the cruise night tonight. I understand Holly, Hot Rod Holly, is coming up, and she's thinking about doing it all the way from San Diego. That's quite a drive. She's out to visit her sister, so it's normal for her to get involved with some of these things. Hi, Joey. How are you doing this morning? Thanks for tuning in. And Jerry Wendell. Well, we're trying. Thank you very much, Jerry. I keep doing this. Now, one of the things, now you're watching us at 11 a.m., and this is something I do every weekday morning. We're trying to get the evening show back put together again. Randy Cardoon, Joe Walla, and if we can, Anna Octane again, get back and going with it. Hello, Jason. How are you doing today? From all the way up in Minnesota. What's the weather like there for you today? Phil Hoffman, Mr. NHRA, is watching. So we're trying to get the evening show back up. And when we do the evening show, we'll have guest speakers as well. We'll do it at this point via Zoom and get things going. Mark McGeorge, something about go-kart. Yeah, okay. Well, we had a go-kart. I had a go-kart. I got from Mark. I was going to go racing again. But this little thing called, major surgery stopped me. Hi, Red Vincent. Good morning to you. Barry Seaford, Mr. Roofer. How are you doing today? Now, Barry Seaford, if you don't know who he is, he had an amazing 32 Ford Victoria supercharged 312 in it, and it was in CarCraft magazine back in the early days of CarCraft magazine. And I don't know, Barry, you still have that 32? You had a bunch. You had that. You had a bunch of cars that people have had that I saw. I remember when we lived down the street from each other, you had that 32 Roadster body leaning up against your garage. Barry, a hot rodder from way back, a Burbank resident, but moved away, escaped the San Fernando Valley, and is doing well. Glad to see you there. Alan, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so GAAS is trying to go back to the 1 hour show. Neil Peng says, the thing on my mind is the weather is great in the UK. Yeah, I saw that little libation you had sitting on your table there on the nice sunny day. We're hoping that everything gets cleared up because we've got the Dragstalgia coming up in Great Britain. Hi, Ian. How are you doing today? Or Ian? But again, GAAS is trying to go back to the 1 hour or possibly an hour and a half format in the evenings. Joe Walla will do the rockin' and racing portion. Randy Cardoon will do talking about cars, where he introduces celebrities you know from television and motion picture and so forth, that have car stories. And GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene, much like we see today here at 11 a.m., we'll talk about rodding it in random, whether it's tabletop like I did yesterday, or what have you, as long as it's car related. Now, Danny Santos says not really car related, but he got a question regarding clear coating. I want to keep the rust out of my 83 lowrider bike, kind of a rat bike. Can and how can I keep that look and give it a little shine? Yeah, clear coat will work on the tanks. If you use a regular automotive paint on the tanks, you're fine. If you want to coat the engine, make sure it's perfectly clean. You can use clear engine enamel. And I did that on a flathead that was in my Plymouth. I had a lot of aluminum pieces that were not polished, but they were blasted, so they had that nice natural cast look. To keep them shiny and keep them looking fresh, I used engine paint that was clear. So you can get clear engine paint, and you can paint it on the engine parts. Once they're cleaned up and shiny and looking the way you want, you can coat them with clear coat that way. Now, that clear coat will also work on regular paint as well. It's not strictly for engines, but it does have the heat resistance necessary. And it's basically a synthetic enamel. So that's what you can do. All right. Thanks, Mark. I got a package for you. I'll get that going for you. So, Greg, how are you doing today? Gandrand. I believe I pronounced that correct, Greg, hopefully. Thanks for tuning in. We've got people watching us right now from all over the world. Bahrain, Italy, Spain, Great Britain. Neil's over there. Nice sunny day in the UK. Mr. Fordham is watching us as well. How are you doing? So a lot of people from all over the world tune in to GAAS every morning, and I do appreciate it. I love having you here. I love listening and reading your comments, and I hope you don't mind me bringing up topics that maybe others don't talk about. Now, I got something special, too, that's coming out. I've been asked to do something for Rodding USA magazine. The next issue will be coming out in 2 months, and it looks like I'm going to be part of it. I'll let you know more about that as things go by. But again, we're trying to work on the evening edition of GAAS, along with Rockin' and Racing and Talking About Cars, We're going to try and put it together because we have to social distance right now, and the studio that we used to use is now closing down. We're going to use Zoom to start with. Now, we'll do that as long as we have the quarantine going on. Once the quarantine's lifted and we can get groups together, Murphy Automotive Museum in Oxnard, California has graciously allowed us to broadcast live from their museum. And we'll do that on a specific Sunday of the month. I believe we're going to look at the first Sunday of every month when they have their morning breakfast cruise. We'll be inside, so we'll have a studio audience, and we'll be doing our Talking About Cars, Gas, Rockin' and Racing show directly from the Murphy Museum. And we hope you enjoy that. We hope you enjoy this 11 a.m. version of Gas. Good morning, Candy. How are you doing this morning? So welcome to Gas, the Great American Auto Scene. I'm glad you could tune in. And we'll be getting a real formal backdrop going as things get on. And again, we'll be doing Zoom for our evening show. We're just trying to coordinate that and get that all together. So we'll be up and running with Gas, the Great American Auto Scene, talking about cars, where we talk to celebrities about their car experiences. And I believe Candy, we also interviewed Candy one year up at the SEMA show. She was in the Moon Eyes booth, and Randy and I kind of had a chat with her about her car experiences. And everyone's got car experiences. It doesn't matter whether you're a car enthusiast or not. You've had that situation, let's say, with a car. Whether you ran out of gas at an inopportune time or met somebody in a car, or had one of those crazy cars that never kept you going and always left you stranded. There are stories you can laugh about today or about yesterday, and we try to bring that up and talk to people about that. So check out Talking About Cars. You can see us on radio.com, and we're going to be going on palette. Anyway, we're getting a new format that we can go on, and we'll let you know more about that and let people see that. We did a test of that, a Peloton, it's something like that. And we'll get that going. It'll be the evening edition, the formal edition, where we'll go for an hour, hour and a half. Bob Pratt's watching. Greg Duran, what size t-shirt do I wear? Oh, I'm an extra Bubba, XL. Jerry Burwell. Now, I go back with Jerry quite a few years. We actually worked for the same company at one point in time. He was one of our training instructors at Isuzu, which was a company owned by Generous Motors at the time. And you might remember the Isuzu cars, and they still bring in the cab-over trucks. They were part of General Motors, and we did quite well back in those days. And Jerry moved on, starts building hot rods, has his own hot rod shop down in outside Whittier, I believe, is where you're stationed right now, or set up right now, Jerry. Brad Fisher's watching. So it's Friday, kind of loosey-goosey today. No real format, no real information to bring out, but glad you tuned in. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got Gas, the Great American Auto Scene, brought to you by Valley Head Service, Irwindale Speedway, Irwindale Drag Strip, Beach Underwriting Associates, and Service Tech for all your garage service equipment needs. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've had Gas on a Friday. Hey, for those of you that can make it out to Santa Barbara tonight for the social distancing cruise, please join us. We'll see it. Alan, you love the Impulse? I did too. The rear drive Impulse. I really like that one. Although we had a couple of guys that had the all-wheel drive, the later version that was also shared with General Motors, and they said that thing was a rocket ship. Turbo all-wheel drive Isuzu Impulse. Now, for those, all right, now we're going to continue on here because now we brought up some information. A lot of people don't realize that General Motors bought controlling interest in Isuzu back in 1972. The first introduction of that collaboration was the Chevy Love truck. Now, later on, Isuzu, and they are still involved with General Motors, helped with production of cars like the Chevette. It was based on the Isuzu iMark. The Isuzu iMark was the vehicle that replaced the German Opel. They still called it an Opel, though. The cab-over trucks that General Motors was selling, as GMCs and Chevrolets, were Isuzus. The Top Kick Kodiak and the larger Isuzu cab-overs were all produced in Flint, Michigan. The gasoline-powered Isuzu cab-over trucks were produced in Janesville, Wisconsin. Yeah, the Chevy Love truck was the first collaboration. And LUV stood for Light Utility Vehicle. Now, Isuzu still is involved with General Motors. As a matter of fact, the cab-over truck sold by Chevrolet is still an Isuzu, rebadged. The Duramax V8 diesel engine is a product of Isuzu, designed by Isuzu, built in a joint plant here in the USA. Now, I'm not quite sure about the new Duramax diesel, or what they're calling a Duramax diesel in the Chevy, the Canyon, and the Colorado pickup trucks, the GMC. But chances are it is also designed by Isuzu. Isuzu, known worldwide for their diesel engines. Peggy asked again, what does LUV stand for? Well, and related to cars, it's Light Utility Vehicle, dear. See, I kept it clean, straight. I could have gone. Yeah, 6.6 Duramax, Bob Lohman. That is the Isuzu designed diesel engine, and it has been an extremely successful engine for General Motors. It is only available in General Motors vehicles. However, diesel engines, regardless of whether they were in a Chevrolet, a GMC, or an Isuzu, at one point in time could have been called Duramax, the Top Kicks and the Kodiaks. The Top Kicks and the Kodiaks, they dropped the Cat diesels and were using the inline Chevrolet or Isuzu diesels, and they were referred to as a Duramax. Alan, also the iMark Chevette. Yeah, the iMark and the Chevette used the same platform, although Chevrolet did the assembly. It still used the Isuzu mechanicals. Love means you never have to say you're sorry, darn. Okay. Oh, yeah. And Peggy says she knew that. Well, Peggy Beck does know those things because she also worked at Isuzu. And that's how we met some 20 plus years ago while working at Isuzu. All right, we got to go now. It's been a while. Thank you very much for tuning into GAAS-Great American Auto Scene. And, we got great comments yesterday on the review of Michael Smalley's Riverside Raceway in 1/24th scale. And we're going to post some more information about that. Michael's given me some more links to photos and video about the track. We're going to post that up for you. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested in slot car racing like I am, Mike Smalley's got a great track based on Riverside Raceway, and it is one of the most fun tracks we have in our club to race on. Hi, Chris Wise. Good morning to you. All right, folks. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene, brought to you by Valley Head Service, Irwindale Speedway, Irwindale Drag Strip, Service Tech, Beach Underwriting, and Moon Eyes. Take care, folks. We'll be talking to you.